terrified now after you. Quel computer che cos'è? Lo posso togliere, no?
Sì, chiediamo a Riccardo.
Possiamo togliere quel computer da lì? Si può fare? Guarda, lasciamo questo qui. Possiamo lasciare questo qui? Sì.
Cosa? Perché torni a casa. Ah, vedrai, faccio una presentazione molto semplice.
Akira, you finally recognize him. You know what? Yesterday, I said hello. I thought maybe you were. Yeah. Russ, right? Yeah.
I me too.
Yeah. And I thought maybe it's so happy to see you. So happy to see you. Amazing. I'll give you more answers.
Ok, iniziamo.
And you?
Nico.
Look at him. I'm so happy to see you, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's now.
Hello, good evening again. Thank you. Now, hello. The introductions are getting harder and harder because we are going into real family and not only partners in crimes, nearly brothers, but also people that make you proud. And it's also nice to have Nico Vascellari back to Fabrica. And for Nico, I'm not gonna read any biography. I'm just gonna say about two stories. The first one was when we were here at Fabrica and Martin Parr was doing a workshop, and the only idea that Martin Parr asked is, can you take a series of photos that change your life, or that at least pretend to change your life? And Nico had the great idea, as a straight-edge hardcore person that never got drunk, to say, okay, I'm gonna get drunk for the first time. So basically, I had to hold the camera for that evening. I don't remember most of the night, and he probably neither. And remember that the next day when we saw the photos with Martin Parr said, I think this is the best thing I've seen in a lot of years.
I was still in bed.
I don't remember neither.
I was still in bed.
But, okay, so that's the first one. And I think that Nico will tell you a little bit more stories, and hopefully some of the projects will follow up. But what to say about Nico? We will have also some of his films and also his pop-up project here of Codalunga. Nico was born not so far away from here in an amazing place, Vittorio Veneto, a place that I've had the opportunity of visit through his visions, through his introduction. And also, what has to say is probably one of the most important Italian contemporary artists working today, exhibited all over the world. His works are in public collections and private collections all over the world. Exhibited at the Venice Biennale a few years ago, and also Manifesta. And recently in the Palazzo in Firenze, a great show, one of his greatest shows of recent years. And he was being shortlisted for the Pinchuk Art Prize, Future Generation Prize, and a lot of other prizes and events in recent years. Of course, Nico comes from a background of hardcore music. He had a band when he entered, and actually when he arrived to Fabrica, the only portfolio that he had was a series of crazy concerts, and that was the way to enter, thanks to Mr. Jaime Ayon, who saw the vision and brought Nico to the department, and the rest is history. And thank you very much, Nico, and please, microphone is yours.
Thank you, Carlos, thank you. Hello, good evening, everybody. So thank you, Carlos. I have to say I'm quite terrified. As Gabriela said before, you know, talking in front of people that are dear friends or collaborators, some of you, I have to say and admit, mentors as well, brothers, is quite terrifying. And I have to say that after Gabriela is even harder for me, because I was blown away by the presentation. Amazing work. It also feels like a bit like being back home, you know, and one of the first time I said at home, you know, I think I'm an artist. My father said, an artist a fuck, you know, in this house, either you study or you go to work. And that's exactly when Fabrica came to the equation, you know, that Fabrica seemed to be the place that could answer the request of my father to work and study, you know, and Fabrica for me was a way to study and work simultaneously. I'm extremely grateful for the time that I spent here, and I wish to take this opportunity also to thank Jaime, you know, because as Carlos said, my portfolio was a mess. You know, when I read on the web of Fabrica that I had to submit a portfolio, I have to admit I had no clue what a portfolio was. I study Greek and philosophy, so I had no art or artistic involvement, except, you know, for my you know, activism, I will call it, in the underground music scene, which was a big, and still is a big part of my life, and definitely shaped my way of looking at things and to feel committed to what I have to do or what I can do. And the hardcore scene was basically, you know, a driving force for me, a very inspirational movement, because what meant to me, coming from a place nearby, which is a very, very small town, I felt, you know, like that in order to make things happen, I had to be the one creating the opportunity for them to happen. The DIY, the do-it-yourself attitude, you know, and that is the way I approach art in general, you know, meaning that for me, an artist is not only defined by the things that he does, but also by the things, mostly by the thing that he refused to do. For me, art is basically an existential form of resistance, you know, poetical, political, emotional. What I'm going to share with you are some of the works that I've done along the years, with some stories, you know, I guess. When I left Fabrica, I left because I felt the urge to work just on my own project and visions. But honestly, when I left, I had no clue on how to make this thing happen, and I was quite lucky. My first exhibition actually happened because I destroyed the work of another artist by accident. I walk through his studio at night and step on his canvases that were on the floor with no frame, you know, and they were black paintings, so, you know, I step on them without seeing them. The following day, he basically was very pissed, and I had to admit it was my fault. I just realized when he told me somebody destroyed the work, I was like, I have the feeling it was me stepping on your canvases. And he said, what can we do now? I said, I don't know, you tell me. He said, well, I assume you have a nice insurance. I said, no, I don't. But maybe you have money. No, I don't. So what did we do? And I said, well, you know, I'm a visual artist as well. I'm gonna get my studio ready, then you can come for a visit and destroy work for the same amount of damage that I've done. And that's what we did, you know, like he came to the studio, I don't know, maybe a couple of months later when finally I had some work done. And I showed the work, and he said, you know, like, I like the work, I respect your vision. With the works that you destroy, I was supposed to do an exhibition. Why don't you take my place? And that was my first exhibition. And from there on, you know, I kept on going, pretending at times to know the way, or playing around with the fact that I didn't know the way at all. You know, like, for example, after having made, you know, 4 or 5 works, I felt like I had a huge body of work already. And I decided to call Camufo. Some of you certainly remember of Giorgio Camufo. I called him, you know, I was living in Rotterdam at the time, and I said, Giorgio, you know, I'm ready. I have a lot of work to show. And Giorgio said, okay, it's great, Nico, come over, let's do the show. The only thing that I ask you is that you have to have a critical presentation, you know, like somebody that is gonna write a text for you. I said, no problem. Then I hung on the phone and realized that I did not know anyone that could write a text. But the same day, by accident, at the museum in Rotterdam, I encountered Maurizio Cattelan, who was already a huge superstar back then. And I approached him, like, just to say hello. And we just basically said hello and nice to meet you and goodbye. Then cycling back home, I felt, well, that guy did a lot of funny things. Maybe I can be a funny man too. So I called Giorgio and said that Catalan had visited my studio, and he loved. He was absolutely blown away by the work and insisted on writing the text for the exhibition. Of course, Giorgio was very happy, and a couple of days later, I submitted a text that I wrote myself, signed by Maurizio Cattelan, and that drew some attention to the exhibition. There were quite a few people saying, "Hey, it's true. He's a very interesting artist," and I mean, the stories are these. But so, you know, I show you a work now. I show you one work that I did just a year after I left Fabrica. It's called Untitled Song. What was interesting for me was to try to lose control, you know, like to try to fully believe in the vision I had, knowing that I would have lost the control anyhow, because the situation I forced myself in was a situation in which I could, again, not be fully in control. This is the first video. It's called Untitled Song, and we switch off the light and we watch, maybe. Jorge, this was shot with your camera, by the way. No, it's not yours, but it's the same camera that you showed me at Fabrica, you know. Like, basically, this video is shot, you know, just with a camera taped to my right hand. And the idea, again, was just to run as fast as I could in order to follow this drum set. But, you know, being the path quite a steep one, of course, I couldn't feel my leg at times, and I would fall. And so the majority of the work was editing out all the falls and all that. Anyhow, I'm gonna, you know, I already mentioned Vittorio Veneto before, and I mentioned already Rome before. This is because I think these are very important things for me. I keep on going back to that place. I keep on going back to the Consiglio forest that Carlos mentioned before. Because I do feel that is a big story for me. That's a big part of myself, you know, coming from that place, you know, like, again, like a very small town with was not so much happening for me. But I mentioned already my father, you know, saying an artist, a fuck, and all that. So one day I decided to go back home and say to my parents, you know, like, I'd love to make a project with you. I love to create a band with you. I think you, pointing at my father, should play the drum. You, Mom, should play the bass, you know, because you guys were the one that gave the rhythm for such a long time. And then speaking to my sister, I said, well, you should play the guitar, you know, and I sing on top of it. The answer from my father was not so different from the one before. It was like, fuck you, you know. But then, you know, like that, then something magical happened that night, and I think they noticed that I was entirely disappointed and quite furious about their answer, about their no, that they came downstairs to my room and decided to open up and ask me what I meant to do with that. And I said it to me, it was just an opportunity to get together in a different way, you know, like, there were a lot of other reasons, you know, why I thought about this project, and one was just a funny one. You know, the project started because one morning I woke up and I was like, Nico, what kind of name is that? You know, like, why the hell did they call me Nico? And I just thought about Nico and the Velvet Underground, and all of a sudden I found myself fantasizing about something revolutionary in the rock and roll music scene. And I thought, well, nobody ever done something with their parents, so maybe that's something that I could do. So we went to a studio and recorded one song, you know. None of them ever touch an instrument, so the music is quite dramatic, but that's not the point, you know. Like, and after that, I said, well, now we are ready for a live show. And of course, once again, you know, they were like, yeah, Nico, fuck off. And I said, no, I already have the venue, I have the space, and it was the first international prize for performance art. Well, I show you what we have done and tell you a little more about it. So now we watch Nico and the Vascellari. told you the music was dramatic.
Ciao, grazie.
So, I mean, in case you were wondering why I was dressed that way, the sweatshirt I had was my mom's sweatshirt, the shirt was my father, and the pants were my sister. But beside that, for me, art in general was a way, as I said before, to resist daily life in a way, you know, like, so going back to my parents and try to disrupt in a way the family was a way also to try to approach our relationship in a different way, you know. And it doesn't matter, you know, how much before I said, you know, my father said an artist a fuck or not, you know. Since that day, for example, I do know that my parents support the work and we're very close along all these years, you know, of research and investigation. And as we watch this, that is so close to home, I'm gonna show you one video, two videos, you tell me how many you want to see, of this other project that is called Lago Morto. And Lago Morto was my answer to an invitation by Kunsthaus in Vienna to come up with a project that in a way had something to do with the relationship between rock music and art. In a way that made me think about the whole industry of entertainment, you know, which is so focused on subjecting us as individuals in order to understand what we want, what we desire, and what eventually we will buy. And that's how the music industry basically creates a lot of bands and entertainment. So I tried to come up with something that was 100% wrong, a band that could not have any possible success. And in order to promote this band, I thought about an horrible tour. And the tour was a tour of 15 shows in 14 days, or 16 shows in 14 days, 16 shows in 15 days, all happening in Vittorio Veneto. You have to know that Vittorio Veneto has two venues for playing music. One is mine, and another one is a bar. So, you know, in order to create this tour, I had to go, you know, to a lot of different people, you know, to say, hey, would you host a concert of mine in this place? They'd be like, yeah, but this is a very small, no problem. So I don't know how, but I managed to find 15 places that were willing to host the concert. That generated a sort of small revolution in town, because day after day, you know, there were more and more people coming, getting together to see this shitty band, playing awful music, just for the sake of being there, you know, and sharing a moment. That truly was moving to some extent, and it was, I don't know, it felt truly as an important project, and allowed me to create maybe a wrong connection to what Gabriella was saying before, but I do believe in the fact that there should be a major involvement of artists, of creative people in general, in politics, and the way we deal with society and the cities and the government. I strongly believe in that. And this is maybe a wrong answer to it, but so I'm gonna show you a video that was shot actually at a laundry machine place, you know. You see. Easy Wash. Lago Morto, Easy Wash. funny thing about this project is that we, thank you. A funny little detail about this project was that we sort of try to understand how long it would have taken every night for the police to show up. So we made very short concerts, like between 15 and 18 minutes, and it was perfect timing because they always arrive at the very end and everybody was vanishing away. Of course, they knew it was me. The mayor called me, and they were, anyhow. To show you to give you a little hint on how this was exhibited at the museum later on, I show you this 16 per 16, 16 per 16, but we just see it for like 30 seconds. But in order just for you to understand how eventually this will sound and look like in an installation, it's different, but still, you get a little. Enough. But shall we go? What can I show you now? I'll show you something very different. I'll show you this. Some of you might have seen it already, but during the first lockdown in Italy, during COVID time, again, I could not take this idea that things were not moving at all, everybody was just calling, say, hey, Nico, the exhibition is postponed, thank you. Oh, remember that project is canceled, thank you. Do you want to do an interview for the website of the museum? No, thank you. It was just an insane amount of time that felt not wasted, because I have to admit that to some point I did enjoy the lockdown, I did enjoy this not having to, go into the studio every day, which is not a painful thing to do for me. It's a pleasure, but anyhow, I'm sure you all know what it meant somehow, that break that we all had. But I did feel the need to do something, and I tell you this because I think in a way it's a lot about the way I approach things in general, again, connected perhaps to the fact that I come in a town where not so much was happening, but I did feel that I didn't have to wait for an institution to tell me, okay, it's about time for you to exhibit. I didn't have to wait for anybody to give me an opportunity to do something that for me is so fundamental and needed. Because at the end of the day, what I'm doing is not a career. This is life. This is I have no choice. This is what I do, and I do it because I feel the need to do it. So I announced on the web, through social media, that I was going to do this performance for 24 hours, non-stop, broadcasted live from the website, from the YouTube channel of my own studio. And that's what I did for 24 hours. I was just basically doing this action that you will see. There were around 70,000 people that watched the whole thing, which was a pretty big deal, I have to say. But that's it. We watch it, and then I tell you a little more about it. So we watched D-O-O-U. This is a short clip, it's a condensed version of the whole show, of the whole performance. You will see it will go faster at times. It's just like 24 hours condensed in 6 minutes, but we don't watch it all, we just watch a little bit.
I trusted you, I trusted you. 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 I trusted you.
Anyhow, this was on for 24 hours. We watched the full version next time. We meet. Next reunion, we watch it all.
I trusted you. I trusted you.
There are many things in a way that can be said about this project. One important thing that for me was how the whole thing was promoted, you know, and where this idea came from. I do run a project space in my town, again, Vittorio Veneto, which initially was my studio, and then I converted it into an exhibition space because, you know, it's on the street. It was a former shop, so it has windows, you know, and people kept on entering, wondering what I was doing, what I was making inside this space, you know, and at first that was very interesting in a way. After a bit, it was a little tiring because I ended up having to talk a lot during the day, not focusing too much on the work. You know, I had to explain. But then I thought, this is a perfect space to invite other artists to exhibit because the audience, the people that were just passing by, they were not people interested in art at all. They were just random people, mostly elder people, passing by, stopping out of curiosity. And I thought that's perfect because that way, you know, again, I'm engaging with an audience that is not ready. It's not, at times, you know, like it feels that we're seeking for applause, we're seeking for confirmation all the time. And I think in that particular moment, we lose the relevance, or part of the relevance of what we do, you know, which should be not talking or preaching to the converted, you know. We should not just not look for our audience. We should just look to spread what we have in mind, you know. And so that space became a place for other artists exhibited since 2005 now. And the windows, again, were a very, very important part of that space. So for me, the screen of the computer was that window. And in order to have an audience that was just not the art audience or my audience, I asked a lot of different people involved in fashion, art, cinema, nothing, you know, to help me promote through their social, you know, to help me promote the performance. And I left open the chat, you know, under the YouTube page in order to be consciously how do you say, exposed to criticism, to insults, compliments as well, but in order to create a debate that people could actively use the way they wanted to use it. It could have been a productive one or a very superficial one. Most of people used it in a very superficial one, but you know, with the passing of time, you know, one thing is to do it for 2 hours. One thing is to do it for 4 hours. One thing is to remember after you go to sleep that there is somebody that is perhaps still there. And all of a sudden you go back and check and you feel involved. So that was a way, you know, to engage with people that I had not in front of me, which is again a big part of what I do, you know, like the connection with the audience, how to share energy, how to create energy, how to sort of communicate in a non-verbal way. And this is also a big part of what performance and art in general is for me. I've been talked about a window, I've been talked about, you know, a possible link between two realities, which again is something that that is very, very present in my work or in my field of interest. I show you a bit of one video that I shot last year. It's called Fossil of Experience. Maybe there is just fossil, I don't know. We watch a little bit of it, and I tell you more about it.
Cosa fa la fotografia per lei? Metti la faccia a fare. No, metti la faccia in quando tu.
No. Ecco. Vuoi andare pure tu? Sì, vuoi andare pure tu. Ha fatto un salto!
Informiamo i gentili visitatori che alle ore 11:30 si potrà assistere al Palazzo dei Lemuri. L'appuntamento è presso l'area dei Lemuri di Santa. Grazie.
Guarda!
Questa rete, guarda. C'è rete di acciaio fino alla sopra.
È andata?
Adesso bussando si è girato. Quasi davvero? È pericoloso. Sarà stato qualcuno che fa parte di che?
Vado, ma fa paura.
Mamma,
Fa paura.
mamma, andiamo.
Ma si aggrappa
Sappetta. Andiamo?
No, lo sto vedendo.
Uscita al contrario. Ma sei sicuro? Sì.
Mamma!
Qua fa finestra.
Guarda come si vede bene questa.
Pietruccio, dove sta? Vale.
Ma qui vanno via.
Infatti anche io su questa si vede, vedi?
Sì.
Ma solo tu?
Mamma mia.
Mamma mia.
Che bella.
No, vedi che interessato.
Dai, dammi un bacino. Ma me l'hai fatta la foto in quel momento? No, ma come no? No, ma davvero? Che schifo, però, me la mangi. A me me lo dai? A me me lo dai? A me me lo dai? Io ti porto a casa con me. Vieni a casa con me. Vieni a casa con me. Ci vieni?
E basta, mi sono
Volevo amoreggiare un po' con lui. Non ci sono le scimmie di là.
Vedi questa qua?
Sнимalivo? Вижте così.
Стига с ръцете.
Има си език.
La tigre sta qua. Ma andiamo pure all'oceano, va. Ma andremo pure all'oceano.
Vediamo! Ciao frate! Frate da stile! Avevo preso
No, non va dare.
Vittorio.
Aspetta, rifaccio una foto!
Vittorio, non toccare niente.
Vabbè, allora, fu. No, faccio del film!
No, Vittorio, non ti assaltare.
Mettiti qua vicino, mettiti qua vicino. Vittorio, dai, però non li devi far spaventare i cacchi degli animali.
Ma cos'è quell'uomo?
Girati, non è una paura. Girati, mettiti vicino.
No, sto facendo una foto.
Mettiti da quella parte. Da questa parte, Gico, da questa parte.
Oh, frate!
Guardati un attimo. Mettiti un po' più qua, Gico. Più qua, più qua. Un po' più qua. Sorriso, Vittorio. Fai il sorriso. È grande questa tigre.
Però sembra un gattone.
Come si è messa? Ma è un gatto. Samuele, mai visto? Un gatto Che meraviglia! Io guarda quella carta dell'artiglio delle zampe. Il gatto di Zon. L'artiglio della zampa. Il gatto di Zon.
Pedro mia.
Dovrebbe essere il gatto di Zon.
Permessa?
Se respira. Sì,
Quello è il gatto di Quello è il gatto di Zon. Guardate, sto ballando.
So, no, I haven't shown much work about nature and animals in particular. But I would say that these are the main topics of my work, especially animals. I do believe, I don't believe in reigns, you know, I do believe in encounters. I do believe that every animal is either a window or a mirror, depending on how we look at it and how we welcome it in our life. And I do spend the majority of my time when I'm not in the studio, in the forest, you know, as much as I can, at least. That is, I think, leads us to the last work I'm going to show you for today, which is a work conceived for the Lyon Biennial. It's a video entitled Horsepower. The reflection about this video started through analyzing the word Lyon, you know, the city of Lyon, and then the lion, the symbol of the city. And all of a sudden I thought about Peugeot, which is a brand that has a logo, as a lion. And then I discovered that there are over 40 companies, car companies, that have animals, you know, have logos. It's quite easy to understand why, you know, and it's true that along the history of humanity, our force was first substitute with the animal force, and then finally the animal force was substituted with the engines and machines in general. So I'm going to show you a little extract of this video. It's a video that lasts for around 40 minutes, and it's shot as a documentary. Basically what happens in the video is that I removed the frontal hood from 9 cars and replaced it with an animal made out of wax. Each animal comes from the logo of a brand. And I asked 9 different drivers to drive the cars according to the behavior of the animals that they were driving. So just to say, you know, the lion tend to be a very calm and lazy animal. It spends most of the time in the shadow during the day. He is active only if he's very hungry or if he has to defend his territory. So that's what the driver had to do. In the driver driving the lion. At the end of the documentary, which lasted, we shot for 3 days and 2 nights. Basically, what I did was to dismantle the car, cast the animal as it was sculpted by the accidents or the action, but also by the eating of the engine. As it was made out of wax, it tended to fall over the engine. And the engine, in a way, is for a car what the guts are for the animal. So at the end, you know, I had this weird hybrid animal that had an engine as for guts. So we watch a little bit of it. Maybe we can skip every now and then so that you get a little overview. And then we go drink. The soundtrack here in this particular piece, you know, reference to Ben-Hur, because you remember the movie Ben-Hur, which is a great movie, you know, about horse racing in a way. And it was shot the video was shot in Cinecittà, so I thought it was a nice silent hint to the history of that and the idea of animals in races and things like that. Well, it's a very long video. We can skip a bit, maybe. So here, for example, we have the dog. The dog had seen and encountered the car driving the deer, so he decided to somehow attack or to go and check it out. He ended up overheating the engine, and so the sculpture started to melt. Skip again randomly and we see what's happening. when the jaguar dies, it was like trying to attack, I don't remember which animal, and all of a sudden the lion decided to attack the jaguar, and the jaguar had the worst, let's say. The way we shot this was basically because like we were monitoring the whole area with I don't know, the word doesn't come to mind, this thing that flies, you know, like drones. We were monitoring the area with drones, and whenever we would see that two possible or three possible or anyhow a possible encounter or attack or could happen, we would call the drivers and move all the cameras there. Obviously, we didn't have enough techniques, you know, enough budget in order to have the whole area covered with cameras. So every time there was something about to happen, we would move there. But also, besides not having the budget, it was important, of course, that the driver knew what was about to happen because all the accidents were real, you know. So we had to say to the driver, "Hey, look, the lion is gonna crash your car, watch out." And this, by the way, was shot as most of my video together with Giulio Tami, who unfortunately is not here, but I want to say out loudly, you know, that he's been a very, very close collaborator for many, many years, basically since day one. You know, Giulio has always been the person editing my videos, and has always been the person filming my video work, and so he's a close collaborator. This, I believe, is the very last scene when the horse basically realizes he's the only one driving around and the last remaining car. So, I don't know, I think I said quite, you know, it's about time to go, I think, now. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. So as I'm sure there are no questions, we can go drink, okay? Thank you. Thank you all. Of course, if anyone wants to ask anything, I'll be around all day and all night. And so see you later. And later on, Carlos had this brilliant idea of organizing a DJ set. We're going to play back to back, so you might want to check that out. I don't know. I'm not sure. Okay, ciao, ciao, ciao.